just before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that there will be spoilers at the very end of this video. So I will be opening both envelopes found in the box, which will unfortunately spoil the conclusion of Blackstone Fortress. And like I say, it will only happen right at the end of the video, so don't worry if you want to turn off before then. I also want to say a massive thank you to anyone who's been using my affiliate links for Element Games, which are in the description of some of my videos. I was blown away the other day when I looked to see how much money I generated, and I was really pleased. And I honestly, I usually don't get anything from this, but it seems in the last couple of months that it has started to take off a little bit. So thank you so much for that. Needless to say, anything that is ever generated from my affiliate links will always go directly back into the channel and for more content. Anyway, back to the unboxing. So Blackstone Fortress Ascension is very interesting. Now, I don't know what people are expecting in terms of the physical size of these Guardians, but what I was expecting, again, something very different. Now, this is a big surprise to me because, let's have a quick look on the back. Oh, I couldn't contain myself. I had a brief open of the box and a little look inside. So what have we got? So we've got 2 Guardian Drone Citadel miniatures, a 16-page Edge of the Abyss booklet, 62 cards, 11 board tiles, 55 counters and markers, 1 assembly guide, and 1 repository envelopes. This book also includes additional secret elements to discover as you continue your quest into the darkness. So we've got 1 Ascension booklet, 86 cards, and 1 secret envelope. Now, I will open the secret envelope as part of this unboxing as well. So there'll be no spoilers at the front end of this, but there will be some at the back. Okay, so let's have a look. So we've got, this is the Edge of the Abyss. All those skulls in there, spindle drone and guardian cards and that kind of thing we'll look at in a minute. We've got 2 sprues for the Guardians, which I will have a look at in a minute. And as you can see from here, these are nowhere near the size of a Dreadnought. I'm not sure if I'm even making it up myself. I'd read somewhere that these were expected to be Dreadnought size, and they're nothing like it at all. Anyway, so we'll have a look at those in a minute. And then underneath here, we've got 2 bases. So these are 40mm bases, I believe. And we've got the Ascension booklet. I wonder if that cardboard on the back is to avoid giving away any spoilers. Okay, right. So let's have a look. So this box is bursting with stuff. Now, normally people associate the price of expansions and these kind of things with the amount of plastic you get inside. I'm going to say that there's probably more stuff in here than there was in the last Blackstone Fortress big box expansion. The name of it escapes me for a second, but I'll get back in a minute. Okay, right. So let's start by checking out some cardboard and punching some tokens. Okay, so we've got some large it's a large room token. If I have a look through here, so almost everything is smaller tokens, and there's 3 large room tokens which I'll punch now. Okay, from these tokens I'm getting a drilling vibe. tell you, we've got a lot of one-off tokens. I've got a feeling this expansion is going to allow us to continue playing Blackstone Fortress long beyond the campaigns of this box. Right, that's a lot of stuff. So that was 5 sort of A4 sized punch boards that we've got, and it's given us a lot of material. So let's start by what we've got here. So that's some fluff for the Ascension book, which came out today. We have got the assembly guide for the Guardian drones. Doesn't seem to be a great deal to them, so it should be fairly straightforward. They shouldn't be as fiddly as the original spindle drone either. Right, let's have a quick look at the book. The Blackstone Fortress stirs. Provoked by the debased servants of Obsidious Maleks, something is awakening. Tried and tested roots vanish as the fortress rebuilds itself over and over. Time is fast running out for those on precipice. They must find a way to prevent the Blackstone Fortress consuming the way station entirely. Okay. The brink of destruction. The Blackstone Fortress was rousing. Within its labyrinth halls and passageways, ancient systems were coming online. Tessellating chambers shifted into new configurations, and long silent constructs were animated with dark purpose. For those who venture into the ancient megastructure and those who have made their lairs there, these changes mark the beginning of a terrifying new era. Okay, so let's have a look at the components. We'll need these cards to do this as well. So we've got a repository envelope. We have got some smaller cards here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 encounter cards. We've got 2 stronghold artifact cards. We've got 2 resource cards. We'll have a look at all of that stuff at the end when we do the spoilers. Let's have a look at what we've got here as well. So we've got 3 fragment decks. Y, B, and A. We'll have a look, see what they are in a minute. And we have then a large exploration deck. And then we've got a couple more fragment cards at the back. Right, okay, so these have just got maps on them. Now I'm assuming that they're at the back for a reason, in that they're to be kept separate from these ones. So let's have a quick look to see what these are. So yeah, so they are all different maps. And if you look on these maps as well, they've got Y's and A's on there. I don't know if that's to make the map bigger, or to say that, you know, it's a continuing movement through the Blackstone Fortress. I'm not sure on that one. Okay, but that's all very cool. Exploration deck, good. These are all challenge cards. Okay, nice. Counters and markers, we have got, these are unstable markers. These ones are hover drone markers. These are connection markers, 6 of those. What about these hex overlays? You may notice there are other elements on the punch boards of the Blackstone Fortress Ascension which aren't explained here. Don't worry, these will be explained in due time as your explorer's adventure continues, and that relates to these 3. Interesting. In order to solve the mystery of the Blackstone Fortress's fearsome gravitational pull, the explorers must navigate the shifting chambers of the fortress, hoping to find the cause of this dire threat to precipice and shut it down. The rules below describe how to take up this quest into the awakening Blackstone Fortress. Okay, well that's cool. Okay, so it's got an explanation of these fragment cards here. Expeditions in Blackstone Fortress Ascension use cards unique to this expansion, called fragment cards, to create a route through the Blackstone Fortress. Each fragment card has the following information on it: a deck symbol, which is up here, the fragment map, which is the actual card itself, access hex, each card has 1 or more access hexes which provide routes to adjacent fragments. Explorers in access hex can explore +1 action, as described opposite. Each access hex has an arrow printed identified 1 hex side. This is the connecting hex side. When setting up a fragment, mark the connecting hex side on each access hex with a connection marker. They simply remind you which hexes provide possible exits from the fragment. Okay, and then we've got an entrance roll, which is where we come in. Okay, cool. And it talks about how we draw these cards and create our maps. Okay, interesting. I like all that. Wow. And then we've got what appears to be our last battle, the repository, which is massive. Okay, so that's cool. Now, as per the back of the box, it includes 1 additional secret elements to discover as you continue your quest into the darkness, which is everything that's in here. So what we'll do is we'll consider this to be the spoiler stuff, along with what's in this envelope. And what we'll do is I'll make up the spindle drones now and we'll take a look, and then we'll look into the spoilery stuff. Okay, and here they are. They are pretty cool models. So the only difference between the two is the part here. So that one is grabbed hold of and appears to be fixing a spindle drone, and this one isn't. Now on the sprues, you get the option to make either one. So the parts left on the sprues are the alternative build. Okay, so that's that. So consider this, because this is stuff that we move into as we progress through the game, so you can consider all of this spoilers. So this indeed was nothing. We've got an event table. This Ascension book is huge, much bigger, 40-page booklet. We've got a large envelope here, which we'll look in at the end. And got a few decks of cards. So let's look in the Ascension book first. So it explains what our other tokens are all about. So we have got, these are Blackstone resonator tiles. And on the flip side, we've got damaged resonator tiles. Here we've got some siege drill tiles. Resonator matrix token. Salvage token. These numbered ones are called stockpile tokens. We've got 10s, 5s and 1s. Got these drill counters. Okay, that's pretty much it. And in terms of cards, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 10, 12 exploration cards, and we've got an encounter card. Got salvage cards. These all salvage cards. Wait a minute. So we've got all salvage cards and a legacy deck. And a few more resource cards, 2 more resource cards. And then we've got desperation cards. Are they all desperation? Yeah, a whole bunch of desperation cards. And then 3 stronghold cards. Cool. So an example of a desperation card is Flesh Wound. Some injuries look worse than they are. This card has no further effect. Shuffle this card back in the desperation deck. Let's have a look at another one. Empowered Smite. This ability replaces the Smite ability on Aradia Madellan's Explorer card. This action can be used once per activation phase. The closest hostile visible to Aradia Madellan suffers a grievous wound. Each hostile in the same hex as that hostile, and each hostile adjacent to it suffer a wound. Okay, cool. I like that. Need to remember to keep all this stuff separate though. Okay, so as we go through here, the quest for the Shattered Precipice. In order to survive the Blackstone Fortress, the explorers must navigate the eternally shifting chambers to find a relatively safe haven from which to launch future expeditions. The rules below describe how to take up this quest. I'm not really going to go any further than that because I don't want to spoil it for myself. But again, it goes through fragment cards. It's got fortification overlays, hex overlays, which is what a lot of these extra cards were for. So these ones are barrier cards. These ones are tunnels. We've got a Medicaid panel. That's a shield, 2 of those. And here, interestingly, sentry gun. If there's any more. Okay, so again, this continues on a similar trope. We've got individual missions here. Some story stuff, End of Days, Eye of the Storm, Desperate Plan. So this is relating to, it's got some quotes from some of our explorers. Agents of Ascension. the group of explorers who set out from the oh no, let's not spoil that. Okay, so this is cool. Very, very, very cool. Right, okay. Now let's have a look to see, these are the biggest spoilers, what's in these cards. So this is with the repository envelope, usually to be opened at the end after the quest has been completed. I'll try and open this in a way that I can reseal it. Again, I don't know if these are any different, but this gives us one card, Augmetics. As you step in, right, okay. As you step into the empty space of the heart of the chamber, the noise and the pressure of the repository cease immediately. You cast around for controls which might deactivate the machinery around you, become aware of a sound at the limit of your hearing, a vibration which stings your eyes. You stand transfixed, unable to will your limbs into movement. Your comrades rush to your aid, but some arcane field isolates the Ascension chamber. They bang hands and weapons against it to no effect. Horrified at the grimace of your face has become, the searing pain builds in your chest as a complicated rune is burned into you. You fall to the floor as your allies burst in, dragging you from the Ascension chamber. As you gulp in a deep breath, you realise you feel different, somehow detached from yourself, and yet invigorated by your newfound perspective. The Blackstone Fortress has marked you and changed you in ways you cannot understand. The explorers have completed the quest to endure. Turn this card over and place it beside the character card of the explorer that was in the Ascension chamber at the end of the combat. Then lift up the tray within the Blackstone Fortress Ascension box and begin reading the Ascension booklet that you find there. So that is the booklet that we've just read, along with all the components that are there as well. Okay, so Augmetic of Control. This explorer is now permanently marked with the Augmetic of Control. If this explorer is on the battlefield when an event roll is made, after the roll, but before the result is applied to the explorer's player, you can add or subtract 1 from the result. In addition, this explorer is now immortal and cannot age or die. They can still be taken out of action, but automatically pass any recovery rolls. Interesting. Not sure if I like that, to be honest. I like the, the changing of the result, but yeah, not so much the immortality part. Okay, then we've got this big envelope. Do not open until the quest for salvation has been completed. Let's have a look. Right, okay. So, I love it. So this allows us to play with Obsidious Malix. I'm chosen by destiny. Your fate is death. Okay. Read this first. So it's got his initiative card. Okay. Read this first. The Blackstone resonators spin and hum, energy cracking around them. The last of the defenders' guns fall silent. The chamber is suffused with an amethyst light, casting stark shadows against the chamber walls. The resonator's hum builds to a roar, and you are brought to your knees, racked with agony. Then the ruin of precipice flickers out of existence, leaving a great void beneath the rusted deck on which you stand. The resonators slow and fall silent. The only sound that remains is the unending turmoil of the fortress shifting chambers. You glance at each other. Some of you tend to your wounds, others warily check the smoke-blackened weapons. You have triumphed, although the victory already seems hollow. Were the Denzians of Precipice safe? You will likely never know whether your comrades have survived the perilous passage. You have laid low the traitor overlord Obsidious Malix once more, though it has cost you dear. His body lies amongst the countless broken on the deck of the Galleass, doubled over barricades and scattered around fallen defence turrets. The hollowed out deck panels creak ominously as you scramble to the dubious safety of the surrounding Blackstone corridors. Moments later, the deck plates tear apart and crash in the darkness, taking with them their cargo of corpses. Those of you who have been marked by the fortress find yourselves staring at a Blackstone cavity. The reality of your predicament settles upon you like a shroud. You are alone, trapped in the ancient fortress. Somehow, it seems as though this has always been your destiny. Ahead of you, Blackstone slabs shift and align, forming a smooth, featureless corridor that stretches into the distance. A cool white glow illuminates it. You walk together in the light. With every step, your purpose becomes clearer. You who have been marked awaken in the transference vault. You realise the fortress is moving, but you do not understand how you know this. You know so much now. Here at the heart of the fortress, you see each other for what you truly are. Your old allegiances, your old lives live on as memories, but each of you has passed beyond what came before. You recognise your greatest purpose. Perhaps when the fortress arrives at its destinations, you may fulfil it. Elsewhere in the vaults, another pair of eyes open, eyes that burn with a fiery resolve. Malix rises to his feet, addressing you directly. Come, our journey begins now. We have so much to achieve. So after the quest, the Blackstone Fortress travels where it wills through the augmented explorers, while the augmented explorers prowl its corridors. Their minds are tuned to the fortress and the wills not entirely their own. All of the cards from the Ascension expansion are marked with an Ascension symbol, allowing them to be added and removed from your existing Blackstone Fortress card decks with ease, allowing full customization of your Blackstone Fortress adventures. You can add the miniatures from this expansion to the Blackstone Fortress game for other quests you may embark upon in the future. To do so, when setting up an expedition for that quest, blah, 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 blah. And then it tells us what to do with the exploration, desperation cards. The desperation cards for this expansion can be used for one-off games or other quests using the rules on page 6 of the Ascension booklet. Then it's got about the salvage cards. It can be used for one-off games. If the salvage cards are used, the rules for set 7 from the dreaded Amble expansion and for the Sawbone Station from the No Respite expansion cannot be used. And then Obsidian Malix. In future expeditions, players can pick Obsidious Malix as an explorer using the character card included in the expansion. If they do so, remove any Obsidious Malix encounter cards from the encounter deck. And that's it. That is the end of Blackstone Fortress. It is a real shame that it's come to an end because it's a flipping great game. However, I'm sure that probably by the end of the year we'll have our next Warhammer Quest game announced. There's been so many expansions for this one that it must be a great, money spinner for Games Workshop. So I've loved it. I've loved every minute of it. If enough people like this and want a full review next week, please let me know. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. See you guys.